Hi there, so welcome to chapter 37. Simon and Stefan just came back to the assistant, telling him the good news. Remember what news was in German? There's two words for news, because there's two kinds of news. One is novel information and the other is the news. Yeah, and he kind of says, oh, that's fantastic, wunderbar, and here the story continues. Sein Grinsen sieht irgendwie künstlich aus. Grinsen, we had this, grin, so his grin, and Aussehen, we had almost in the first lesson, looks. If you don't remember irgend, don't worry about it. Wie means how, and Kunst is art, so künstlich is artsy or artificial. And what is AI in English is KI in German, because it's künstliche Intelligenz. And künstlich simply means it is not it's the opposite of natural. Yeah, it's natürlich, natürlich, and künstlich. They are opposites, basically made by men. So irgend means some, in sense of somehow, somewhat, whatever you find at the end of irgend. And Simone erzählt ihm alles, something you can make sense of already on your own. Yeah? So why does the grin of the guy look so artificial? Let's see. Herr Müller putzt immer energischer. Well, remember that putzen comes from Butze or Butzen, which is a big lump of possibly fat, something like that, or we have something called Schlacke, and I think in English that might be slag. And if you remove all these things, pieces of dirt, you're basically putzing. Yeah? So, and if you putz things, you have to put things wherever you want, where they're not in the way. So he cleans, and immer energischer, remember that hopefully, that immer just emphasizes the word that follows, so more and more energetically. Wird mit jedem Satz nervöser. Every Jedi knows. Yeah, and Satz, well, it looks like set, and a set of words is basically a sentence. Yeah, maybe that's easy to remember. And nervously. Here the wird is on its own, so it means becomes, or actually you could say he gets. With every sentence, more and more nervous. Der Arme, remember? So it's not about his arms. It is basically about him not having arms, because if you don't have arms, you're very poor fellow. Don't take this literal, yeah? You can be the richest person on earth with or without arms. This just helps you to remember. So, poor guy. Could also be, how would you say poor woman? Write this somewhere and maybe look it up. You will be surprised. Very easy. Die Entführung muss ihn sehr gestresst haben. Gestresst. I recognize the past tense with the GE here, the T and haben, and the muss forces us to put the haben at the end. That's all. Yeah. So whenever you have trouble understanding something, you can also try to restore the original order. So you could, for example, say this. Of course, you have to adjust the ending. So the ending here refers to Entführung. It's the third person. So has stressed him a lot. But here, must him very much or a lot stressed have. Getting there. Aber das Wichtigste ist jetzt, Fix und Foxy wieder sicher zurückzuholen. Wichtig, actually, interestingly, comes from Gewicht, which means weight. So if something has a lot of weight, it's very important, and the weightest, which means the most important, is now Fix und Foxy, again, secure, back. And holen, you know, Germans love to fetch their beer from a hole. Yeah. And here we are. To get them back, to fetch them back, to get them back. But the most important thing, yeah, is now to get them back. Herr Müller bereitet alles für die Ankunft der beiden Hunde vor. A little word at the end definitely means, belongs to this. And bereit means ready. And vorbereiten, well, means pre-ready. Of course, that's prepare. I'm not sure where prepare comes from. But bereit, ich bin bereit, würde man gar nicht sagen. In German we would say, ich bin fertig. I'm done. Yeah, so I'm ready, we don't say like this. But bereit, let's say a machine is bereit, that is doable, that means ready. Your coffee machine or something might have a button saying that. So, but he's preparing everything for the Ankunft. Kunft comes from kommen. We have a couple of words with Kunft, so it's somehow related to kommen, but not always obvious. And if you arrive, if you come close to something, you arrive, yeah, somewhere. And it's a noun, so it's the arrival of the both hounds. So he's preparing the arrival of the dogs. Yeah, the arrival of the hounds sounds like a Alfred Hitchcock movie. Simone und Stefan gehen zurück zum Haus von Frau Kaiser. The only thing I want to remind you of is zum is short for zu dem, and whenever you can, you put this into a single word, shorten it. You might be wondering why the zurück is not necessarily here. It's doable. That would be very formal, like doable, not bad. But in German we are a little bit more flexible. If you are interested in this after B1, not before, don't worry about this before finishing B1, take a look at our German Grammar Genius course where Alessio really walks you through all these things. I've cut this out because it's more of an intellectual pleasure than a necessity to know. You will pick this up as you go. There's no need to intellectually understand it, but there's some sort of pleasure in knowing this. But for now, just know that it's possible, but this is basically it. Yeah, that's all you need. Sie klingeln an der Tür. Well, klingeln is related to klingen, which is to sound, and the klingel is the bell, which you see, the EL and the EL. It's the only thing that they have in common. If you make a verb out of the bell, it simply means to bell or to ring the bell. Yeah, so klingeln, they ring the bell at the door. Where else would they ring the bell? Frau Kaiser öffnet die Tür. One thing that's interesting is öffnen is the verb, to open. But if you just have open, like the doors open or the windows open, it is offen. Yeah, so you see, öffnen would be the logical approach, yeah. But and then when you prolong offen, you should turn the O into an umlaut. But we wouldn't say offenen, we say öffnen. We remove that. It's easier to say. Simone, Stefan, wie schön Sie wiederzusehen. Well, wieder, again, to see. And in German we have a saying, auf Wiedersehen, which you say when you leave someone. It's a bit formal. Normally you would say tschüss, tschüss, yeah, or tschüss with one S. Nobody knows. I'm not sure. I would write it like this. I'm a bit old. So it means to again see. To see you again, or see you again. So tschüss basically comes from ciao. Yeah? We can also say ciao, or the Italian version. So, wie schön, how beautiful, how nice. You, Simone and Stefan, this capital Z can refer to more than one person, to see you again. Was verschafft mir die Ehre? Verschaffen contains a word the Germans love a lot. We have a saying, schaffe, schaffe, Häusle, baue. It's basically criticizing the attitude of people in around Stuttgart, Schwabenland. Working and build a house. That's the sense of life. Schaffe, schaffe is short for schaffen, schaffen. And I said that already, work. So schaffen means to work, to create. And verschaffen is simply what grants me and Ehre. Maybe you remember, you have ehrlich, which is honest, and Ehre then is simply honor. Yeah? And give the honor. So what gives me the honor? That would be possibly a translation. Yeah? How do I get the honor? She doesn't know yet what they come with. Hat Stefan wieder etwas liegen lassen? That's a lovely word. And you see here it starts with a verb, and that means it's a question. So hat lassen is the main verb, and it is hat lassen, and the main verb though is liegen, which means to lie. So has, let, lie. Has Stefan again something lie, let. And that basically means leave lying, leave behind. Liegen lassen, to leave behind, to forget. And you might wonder why it's not gelassen. That's due to the fact that we have two strong verbs here. Lassen is it has a meaning in comparison to hat. Here hat has no meaning. It's not about possession. So it's just an auxiliary, a helper verb. So you have two of these, and that's a specific situation when you have the word lassen. Yeah, it's good to know, but again, just take it in and don't worry about it. Die alte Dame lächelt die beiden Detektive freundlich an. So the old dame, lächeln, you remember, is the small brother of lachen. So, and therefore it is to smile, and you have the smile here. So she smiles the both detectives on. So anlächeln is the verb. And she does so in a friendly manner. Yeah? Anlächeln simply means in English to smile at. Because at also means kind of, it's bringing it closer to someone. Or near someone. Simone hat Schwierigkeiten zu sprechen. We have schwierig here. Very often we replace it with schwer. Yeah, we could say let's say deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache is a common. Yeah, I'm not sure whether. What's the background is. So deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache is usually not used in a nice manner, at least not when it comes from Germans, but if you use it, it's maybe a little bit funny. If someone asks, how is your German going, you say deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache, but what they actually mean, it is schwierige Sprache, but that wouldn't sound right. Yeah? So schwierig means difficult, and schwer means heavy, difficult. Yeah? And Schwierigkeiten, it's something that is difficult, and it's a noun, so difficulties. So Simone has difficulties to speak. Frau Kaiser, das ist mir jetzt sehr unangenehm. I kill the Frau Kaiser for now. Das ist mir sehr unangenehm, aber wir wissen, was sie getan haben. I think this you figure out on your own. The capital Z is referring to Frau Kaiser, which I just deleted. So this, or basically that, let's take that, is me now very not and angenehm. Well, somehow it's related to taking, yeah, something that is easy to take in, yeah, easy to take, like also in a figurative way. So if it's not easy to take in or not easy to deal with, it is simply unpleasant, not pleasing. Yeah. Das Spiel ist aus. Well, we also have ausmachen, which is to turn off. So the Spielberg was a player, the play, which is the game, is off or basically over. Yeah, well, no, das Spiel ist aus. Another word would be vorbei, which means has passed, or yeah, it just passed by. So the game is over. Bitte bringen Sie uns die beiden Möpse. Not much interesting here. Again, bitte might be interesting that it's related to bid. Yeah, I'm bidding you basically. So we turn that into please nowadays. Bring us both the Mops, the pugs. Dann können wir den Vorfall vielleicht vergessen. Well done. Then can we well, for something that has fallen in front of us. So Vorfall is my English is slowing down. Incidents, event I would have said, but the incidents. And you remember that from coincidence, which in German is Zufall. So there is something to remember. Vielleicht, maybe I feel light once I solved this case, and vergessen was very clearly forget. Yeah. Okay, I'm just checking. So basically Vorfall is what falls in front of me, but the incidents. Good, then we might be able to forget the incidents that you kidnapped the pugs. That was the end of chapter 37. Hope you liked it and learned a bit, and see you in chapter 38.